Hi there, welcome to Subpar Stitches. My name is Hillary, and this is my floss tube channel. So you're getting another floss tube extra, just 2 Saturdays in a row, because I want to post this before I forget literally everything, like all the cool details and stuff. So if you're looking forward to like a regular floss tube, that's coming next Saturday. This is going to be a recap of the retreat I just went on, which was Stitchcon 2024 Weekend A. I always see Burn Stitches doing these for all the retreats she goes to, and I like love them. I always want to know, like, what happened, what was like the cool things that you did, because it kind of gives me an idea of if I ever go to that retreat, you know, I'm taking mental notes that I'm going to forget almost immediately after. So, you know. Also, just want to throw it out there. I sound terrible. I was fine through the whole thing. And I don't know if it's just like I was exhausted from literally getting like 4 hours of sleep every night. But when I came back the next day, I don't know what happened. It's like I'm not like sick. Like I took 2 tests. I'm negative. So it's not that. But I think it might be allergies because I cannot stop sneezing. Like I've been sneezing. So if there's any weird cuts, it's because I had to sneeze really, really hard. And I'm not going to subject your ears to that. But every sneeze feels like someone has taken their 2 hands like this into my chest cavity and just ripped it open. So that's been fun for me. And so I sound terrible. My head feels swollen. The inside of my face feels itchy. And I just, my face looks terrible. So, sorry for my voice. It's more annoying than usual. But I am going to go through just everything that, as much as I can remember, all the fun that I had at Stitchcon Weekend A. This was my very first retreat, by the way. I've never been to a retreat. Decided to pick like the biggest one in North America to like start off with. Just start small, you know. So I want to talk about that. And then, of course, I'm going to show you the haul. I'm going to show you all the haul. I'm going to show you the really cool table gifts I got, all the crap that I bought, the free stuff that people were passing out, stuff from the freebie table, like just a little of everything. I kept it kind of separated by category as best as I could, but maybe some of it got mixed up here and there, but I'm going to save that for the end. I will timestamp it, so if you're not into hauls, then you don't have to look at it, I guess. I love watching how people spend their money. I'm nosy, so, you know. I had really grand plans of like vlogging the whole weekend, and after the very first day, I did not pick up the camera once. So I do have some footage to kind of play over, and I'll play the relevant footage so that you can see what I might be talking about. But keep in mind, I only have footage for day 1. I might have a couple pictures here and there, but that's about it for like the other days. I'm not a big picture. I'm bad at taking pictures. Rob and I have like 3 photos together. We've been together 10 years. We have like 3 photos together because neither of us really enjoy being in photos. So I don't know. Just want to start by saying I'm not exaggerating when I say I had like the time of my life. I wasn't sure how it was going to be, you know, because like stereotypically cross stitch and like these types of hobbies they're viewed as more like prim and proper, which we all know is not true. Like we know that's not actually true. You know, the amount of like stitch and bitch circles and things like that exist, clearly we're all a little goofy, but I don't know because I don't really know any other stitchers. So I went into this kind of being like, I really hope that this isn't like a middle school situation where like I have to like eat my lunch at the bathroom kind of a thing. You know, I didn't know where I was going to sit. I didn't have any like hard and fast friendships going into this. I left with what I have to say, I can say with like out a doubt, some lifelong friends. In 4 days, I can tell you that. And I'm not someone who makes friends very easily because I'm too weird for that. Absolutely 100% ride or die friends for life came out of this. So very cool. I have already signed up for another retreat. So Stitchcon is a 4-day, but really more like 3.5-day stitching retreat that takes place in Ohio, near Keepsakes, which is the local needlework store to, I think, like, I guess Cincinnati, right? Like, that's what it's close to. It's not like directly in Cincinnati, I don't believe. I don't remember. I know I just drove there, but maps are not my thing. And it is put on by Keepsakes themselves, and they did an amazing job. I think was this like the 4th year or the 5th year? But clearly at this point, it is a well-oiled machine. I had a blast. They have lots of different activities that you can do or not do. It's up to you. There's no pressure. Because it started in the kind of, not early morning, early for me, morning on Thursday, on Wednesday, I was going to drive down after work. And it's a 4-hour drive for me. I live in the Detroit metro area. So I was like, all right, perfect. I'm not going to fly. Like, what a waste of time. It would take probably longer to go to the airport, wait for the plane, and then fly down, and then, you know. So I just drove down there. And like I said, I was going to leave right after work at 5. But by 11 a.m., I was like done with all my work. And I was like, I don't know if I want to wait till 5 because traffic in Detroit right after work is a nightmare. I live 15 minutes from my office. It takes me an hour to get home every single day, if that tells you anything. So at around 11 a.m., I was like, I'm done. So I'm like emailing my boss, and I was like, hey, I finished my work. Can I just leave? And he was like, yeah, just put it in the system. And I was like, cool. So I ran home really quick to change into not work clothes. And then I picked up a package that I had ordered from Top Knot Stitcher because there was a nerd hoop in there that I wanted to try, and I was like, I'm gonna bring that with me to check it out. And I made the 4-hour trip down to Ohio. Definitely missed an exit like 40 seconds into the drive, so it took a little bit longer. Whatever, there's a lot of construction. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I listened to podcasts all the way there, and really smooth drive. I stayed at the Live Inn, which was directly next to the Hyatt. Like, I'm talking like this is the Hyatt, this is the Live Inn, and they're like right next to each other. Walking distance of 2 to 3 minutes. So I stayed there because it was just a little bit cheaper. I was like, oh, that's more money I could spend on cross stitch. Oh no, I have to walk 3 minutes. Like, who cares? So I stayed at the Live Inn. I checked in. I did see a lot of complaints on the Facebook group about the state of the hotel. I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not notice the state of the hotel. I thought, for me, it was fine. I'm not discrediting anybody else's experience. A lot of people were talking about like their rooms were really gross. I didn't have that experience, but I also was in my room like maybe a total of 12 hours for the whole weekend. I was not sleeping much. I also think that it could be, I have to stay in ADA accommodation rooms in hotels because I'm deaf. I guess you guys know what deaf means. I was gonna be like, I don't hear very well. That's what deaf literally means. So I need a room where if somebody's going to like knock on your door or needs to contact you, or like the phone rings or whatever, I need something where the lights will flash so that I know. So I have to stay in those rooms when I'm staying by myself for my own safety and all that, peace of mind. When I stay with Rob, we just stay in a standard room. So I don't know if they like keeping the ADA rooms like a little bit nicer for legal reasons, but my room was good. So I checked in around like 6:30, went to Culver's to get something to eat. Happiest people on the planet were working in that Culver's in Ohio. I don't know what they're putting in the water over there, but to be a worker at the Cincinnati, Ohio Culver's, I guess. And then I went back to my room, stitched by myself for a while, and then I went to bed. On Thursday, the first day of the retreat, that's when the doors opened at 10 a.m. The rest of the days they opened at 8 a.m. But on Thursday, registration line opened at 10. I had a feeling that there was going to be a line, and it's not like we were all going to the same place, but first I was like, I got to be in there. I got to get there. So I think around like 8:30 maybe, I hopped over to the line, and there was in fact a line. I ran into Tasha from Britches Get Stitches, and that immediately solved my problem of who am I going to sit with. And I was like, can I sit with you? Do you have space? And she was like, yeah, of course. So I went over and she introduced me to some of her friends, and they are the I keep wanting to call her the M&N Stitcher, like M&M's, but it's the M&N Stitcher. But I think she recently changed her name. I will have all my table mates listed down below in their channels if they have one, so that you guys can see that. And her name is Hanna, and she had really fun pink hair. And then there was Michelle, who she doesn't have a floss tube, but she does have an Instagram. But I followed so many new people, so I can't remember everybody's handle. So I'm gonna look that up and pop that down there. And she was really fun and really nice. And then of course Natasha. And so we're all sitting there, who is Bridges Get Stitches, by the way. I think I mentioned that. We're all sitting there waiting next to the line, not in the line. And then these two women are behind me, and one of them says something to me. And I can't remember if she was asking about my nails first, or if I was showing off my Stitch a Day project, and she was like, oh, what are you gonna stitch? And it was the Hathaway Stitchers. It was the two sisters from the Hathaway Stitchers, Erinn and Amity. And so I started talking to them, and I think Erinn said like, oh, I was waiting to see like what you were gonna wear on your nails for, you know, this whole event. And we got to talking, and then she offered me a piece of gum. And I don't usually chew gum because I just feel like I would rather, this is like the fattest thing I'm ever gonna say, but I would rather just eat food than chew gum. I feel like chewing gum doesn't really scratch the itch of eating a food. I don't know. I used to love gum, but I rarely accept gum from people. But I was like, these girls are so cool. Like, I can't say no to their gum. So I take the gum, this is going somewhere, I swear, put it in my mouth, and I'm like, okay, like trying to be like real polite. But then Amity was like, this is awkwardly soft. And we all just started like dying because it was like the weirdest, softest gum, strange gum. But that really cemented our friendship. And so I was like, do you guys want to sit with us? And I like didn't even ask the rest of the table that I forced myself into. I just was like, you guys are sitting with us now. So then the Hathaway Stitchers completed our table of 6, and we finally got in. As you go in, they give you a little folder that has your name tag. They give you a little like name badge holder because you're supposed to, in theory, be wearing your name badge at all times in the stitching room. I definitely didn't. There's something so dorky about wearing a name tag. I don't know. I don't like wearing name tags. I get that from my dad. He also refuses to wear name tags. They also gave you this really nice like Stitchcon bag. It's really sturdy. It's got like a nice zipper on it, real thick. There's a zipper here, and all this stuff that's in here wasn't in there. This is like stuff that I bought, but it came with one of the Just Cross Stitch magazines, like the most recent one. There was, I think, like a zipper fob that was like a wooden cutout, like laser cut image of Keepsakes, the needlework store. I think there was something else in there, but there was only a couple things in the bag. And then you go in and there's just tables everywhere, all set up with 6 chairs. There was a gift, like a table gift from Keepsakes, which was an Ort jar, which I'll show you in the haul section. One thing that I really liked, and I think I saw that this was new this year, but I feel like maybe it was new last year. I don't know. It seems like I remember it saying it was new this year, but is that important? But I really liked this, and I hope that other retreats do this too. But there was this huge flag that planted in the center of your table that said something like, sit with us. And if you had empty spaces at your table, you could leave that flag sitting upright, and so people would know to come up and be like, hey, can I sit with you? And I feel like that saves a lot of people like the awkwardness or the embarrassment of like, you don't want to walk up to a table of people where you're like, oh, they look really cool and I want to sit with them, ask to sit with them, and they go, no, sorry, our table's full. So it's like, if you're like, we've still got spaces, that's there, and it kind of signals both sides like, hey, we can come up and approach you, hey, we're approachable. And I think that for some people who are really shy, or maybe it's their first time, I felt like that was a really good avenue to go towards. Obviously, we took our flag down right away because our table was full from the get. At that point, you know, everybody's kind of filing in, finding their seats, finding their table mates. People start handing out table gifts. I got a couple really cool table gifts from my table mates. I think I'm the only one who didn't bring table gifts because I was making table gifts, and then I had like a sewing machine snafu, and it didn't pan out. And I mean, like, Table gifts are not required. It's just something that people like to do. So it's like I felt a little bit bad, but like, what can you do? You know, the Hathaway Stitchers, they gave us all project bags, and they are beautiful, like amazing fabric. It's like tulip pink fabric. And I found out that Erinn sews all the stuff, but Amity cuts everything out because Erinn hates cutting the fabric. So I was like, that's a good team. And Hanna, the MN Stitcher, she made a ton of needle minders, so I got a couple of those. Michelle made these little pens, which I have them in my bag. And then Tasha made these little like trinket trays, basically. She sewed them. Everybody got one. And then, you know, as people were dropping stuff off, they could, you know, you could throw it in your little trinket tray. So you kind of kept it all together. And she also made us all like name badge holders. So we all had like really stylish fabric name badge holders. So that was cool. People also started walking around the entire room, handing out little gifts. And this happened throughout the whole weekend. So people would come by, they made needle minders. They had like floss drops that they made. A lot of people were passing out stuff along with like cards with their channel or their Instagram. There was a fabric dyer who was coming around bringing out like small ornament cut samples of their fabric, which, I mean, I love free fabric, first of all, but also like what a great way to advertise. Just tons and tons and tons of really fun gifts. And it never stopped through the whole weekend. All the way through Sunday, we were like, people were passing stuff out. So that was really like a fun perk of like, there's like 300 plus people in this room. And so many of them are just like handing out little gifts. So you got to walk away with a lot of fun little kind of notions and things like that. People also started loading up the brag table, which, if you're not aware, is just a table where you can put your most of the stuff was like fully finished or finished, but like just any piece that you're really proud of, you could put it up on that table. And I have some video of me just kind of walking around. This was early on, so this isn't even the full brag table, but this became a problem because I saw 2 chatelaines in person. I'd never seen one at all in real life. I did not realize how big chatelaines are. Like massive, these mandalas. So that made me want to stitch a chatelaine. And I found one that I like. And then I looked at the kit on European Cross Stitch or whatever it's called. Bro, it costs over $300 to kit up a chatelaine that size. And I was like, all right, future Hillary will do that. But when I told Rob, my fiance, I was just like, oh my God, like, you should have seen them. They were so beautiful. And then I looked at how much they cost. I was like, you're not going to believe this. And I was like, it's over $300, which makes sense because there's like Swarovski crystals and beads and silks and I don't know, like everything, but the kitchen sink goes into these. And so I tell him it's like $300 to $350 for the one that I want. And we just sit there quietly and we're staring at each other. And I was like, what? And he goes, oh, I thought you were going to say like an actually crazy number. I was like, $350 is a crazy number. He goes, I thought it was going to be like $1,000. Like, to him, money. He did not grow up with like the concept of what a dollar is. So to him, money is just like whatever. And I'm like, that's why I'm in charge of the budget. But yeah, so big, huge, massive projects to these like itty bitty projects that were just finished so cool. Next year, I'll probably bring something for the brag table. Next year, like I'm already going next year. You know what I mean? Like that's how much fun I had. Just so many beautiful things. And people kept adding to it as the weekend went on. It was crazy. And then there was also a freebie table, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are kind of familiar with the concept. It's just a big long table. You can throw any like charts or kits, or people were putting fabrics and finishing supplies on this table. Anybody could take it. It's like free for all. Like anybody can go up and take it. And people were adding and subtracting from it as the weekend went on. So of course we have to make multiple trips to the freebie table to see what's added and what's not. I feel like next year I'm going to try to get a table next to the freebie table so that I can see what, like when people walk up and add stuff. Cause I got a treasure from the freebie table, which I will show you in the haul, because your mind's going to be like, you know what I mean? Cause mine was. And then another really nice feature of the whole retreat is there's a shuttle bus, like it's called the Stitchy bus. It says Stitchy bus right on the side. And I took some footage of that. And that bus, every, I think, 30 minutes or something like that. I don't know. Don't hold me to this. But every X amount of time, like there's regular increments until the store closes, it makes a trip to Keepsakes, drops people off, picks up people who are there, brings them back to the convention center, and then drops people off and comes back, you know, and it's just like going back and forth. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go on the first day, get that out of the way, because I really only, like, as much as I was like, oh, I want to go, you know, like spend all my money at Keepsakes, I was like, I really only want to go once, because if I go too much, like, one, I'm going to spend too much money there. Two, I'm going to spend too much time there, not enough time in the stitching room, like hanging out with people. And three, I heard it's like kind of small. So I figured like other people were probably going to go later in the week and like do their shopping later. So I was like, let me just get mine out of the way so that it's not crowded. So I get there and oh my God, dude, it is small, but not like in like, I'm not saying that like in a negative way, but it's in like literally an old house. So it's cordoned off by rooms because they didn't break down the walls or anything. Like the house is still like sectioned off into its original like bedrooms and stuff. And it is loaded with models and fabric and patterns everywhere. And they were like, okay, this room is this theme, this room's Halloween, this room's patriotic, blah, blah, blah. But there's so much in every room. It's like you could spend all day there and not see everything. I spent, I think, like an hour there. And I was like overwhelmed, not like in a bad way, but I feel like it's a place where you either go in knowing exactly what you want and get it and leave, or you're like, I'm dedicating like 6 hours to just flipping through stuff because there's just so much. And they have models for like everything. Their fabric was a little bit hard to go through because it's in these huge tubs, like huge plastic storage tubs, and it's labeled like, you know, 40 count this brand linen or just 40 counts in general. So it's kind of like you got to take your time and go through it, and then you can take it to the front and they'll cut it down to size for you so that you can go pay for it. But I bought a couple cuts of fabric there for stuff that I was like, I know I was going to buy these for specific projects. But aside from that, I was like, I can't. The fabric is overwhelming. I also got a couple patterns there as well, and I'll show you those. But I took a little footage of each of the rooms, so hopefully I played that for you. They have just a whole room dedicated to floss, and they had everything. So I got my Keepsakes shopping out of the way. Funny story about the Stitchy bus, though. I was in, like, I think, like, the very front seat of the bus, and the bus doesn't have air conditioning. So they had these, like, kind of like little metal fans, like, stuck up on the wall at, like, regular intervals in between the seats. And at one point, like, we're driving there, and I'm just like, I just feel like little handfuls of my hair being like ripped out. And there were two women sitting directly behind me. And I was like, they're not like pulling my hair, are they? Like, what is going on? So I keep feeling it getting ripped, and I keep kind of like doing one of these, like, what's going on? And then after like the third time, I finally realized the fan that is right above me is sucking my hair into it and just ripping it out. And I was like, oh, okay. So I made sure to sit on the other side of the fan the next time. But I was like literally on the way there, I'm like holding my hair so it won't get ripped out by the fan. I don't know why. I was just like, somebody's pulling my hair, but like that's the only explanation I had. And because Tasha was pretty local to the area, and Erinn and Amity were pretty familiar with like the restaurants around as well. We kind of let them guide us to picking like where we were going to eat. So for lunch on that day, we went to this place that serves like hot dogs. That's their specialty. And I got this crazy looking hot dog. I think it was called the Guacasaurus Rex. And it like straight up just had like chips, like the spine of a dinosaur, and had a bunch of guacamole on it. It was really good. And they had French fries that were like fried in duck fat. And I don't have a discerning palate whatsoever, but those were good. They were very good. I forgot the name of the restaurant though. And then of course we did some late night stitching in the late night stitching room. And then I went to bed because the next morning was, I believe, when the annex opened. And the annex was just like a store, like a room filled with all these trunk shows. They had previewed it the night before, and I saw something I wanted, and there was only like one out. So I was like, I gotta be in line. So I was in line by like 7:30, I think. And I wasn't even the first person in line. There was like two or three other people ahead of me. And then I think the annex opened at 8:30. So I went in, I got what I wanted, and I'll show you that. It was like just a cool project roll. Did a little shopping, and then I pretty much just sat and attempted to stitch for the rest of the day. When they say, I would always hear people say, like, oh, you don't get any stitching done at retreats. And I'm like, how? You're literally sitting there for 14 hours. How do you not get any stitching done? I now understand what they mean, because you're like talking so much and like getting up and going to see people and then going back to your seat, but then like 4 seconds later you're like, wait, I gotta go over there now. And then I kept screwing things up and having to peel it back out. Like, it was hard. It was hard. So I got like little bursts of stitching. I feel like I got more done at like late night stitching than I did at like the actual daytime. They did the first smalls exchange. There were 3. So you drew a chip as you walked in on the first day, and depending on the color determined which time slot you were in, and then it had a number. So like when your number series got called, you could go up and pick your small. So the first one was like, I think it was like the white chip exchange, and they did their smalls exchange. I was on the second day. So, but it was cool to see people put in a lot of work into some of these smalls, and they put a lot of extra stuff. And so I felt a little bit self-conscious about mine, because I only added like some candy and like a pair of scissors, but some people like clearly spent a lot. One thing I will say is like Stitch North, I was looking at the download after I bought my ticket, and they have a smalls exchange as well, but they have like a soft limit, kind of like they were like, if you're gonna add extra stuff into your small, cap it out at $15 worth of stuff, because we want to make it fair for everyone. And I kind of like that, but it was really cool to see some of the like stitchy boxes and things that people put together. For lunch, we went to Skyline. Is it Skyline Chili? Is that the place? I feel like this meal has been my entire personality for the past like week, because I found out about this a while ago, but I was just like, is this real? You know? And so they took me there to eat Cincinnati chili, which is spaghetti, meat that has like cinnamon in it, and a ungodly amount of cheese on top. I watched the guy make it. Like, he literally is like, grabs the spaghetti, puts it on the plate, ladles the sauce over, and then he grabs the cheese and like sandcastle pats it on top of the meal. And that is called a 3-way. Not kidding. That's what is on the menu. And then there's like a 4-way and a 5-way, and each one has like extra stuff on it. Here's a beautiful artistic shot that I took of my meal. And you don't eat it like spaghetti, you eat it like a lasagna. Like, you like cut it and like pick up a bite. You don't like twirl it. I spent like 40 minutes reading the Wikipedia page on this. There's so much. It was created by a Greek immigrant. Like, Tasha explained some of this, but then I was like, I have to know more. So it was created by a Greek immigrant for like kind of the purpose of, he wanted to make Greek food that was palatable to the American audience. And as I read that, I was like, this is literally General Tso's if it were Greek. Because I mean, that's basically what General Tso's was like a Chinese immigrant was like, let me make Chinese food, but for Americans, you know? So I was like, all right, okay. And as gross as it looks, like as wild as it looks, because it's just, to me, that's like I'm home alone and I have no food in the cupboard and that's what I make kind of a meal. I will say it was really good, and I would eat it again. I really would. It was a lot of cheese and I would eat it again. The worst part was, okay, I was telling everybody, I'm like, yeah, I like really dry foods. I don't know, like I like to eat I could just eat crackers all day. Like, I just love a dry food. And everybody was like laughing at me. Then we sit down at the restaurant later and Erinn was like, yeah, I'm gonna order mine dry. And I thought she was messing with me. Like, I thought she was making fun of me, like picking on me because I said that about the dry food. But then she does, in fact, tell the waitress, can I get a 3-way dry? And I was like, what? What? And she was like, yeah, I told you I was gonna. And I was like, what does that mean? And she goes, oh, they drain the excess juice off the plate before they serve it to you. And I was like, all right, everything's fine. Everything's gonna be okay. But it was good. I enjoyed it. Would eat again. And then definitely did late night stitching again. Tara from Wild Woman Crafts, she sat with us the first night, and like we had a lot of fun, but I was like, am I coming on too strong? You know what I mean? Because like sometimes you feel like, oh, like you made a really cool connection with somebody, but then like they definitely think you're a freak. But then she wanted to sit with me again, and I was like, oh, okay, so like this is what we have is real. And so Tara and I sat next to each other at late night stitching all the nights and had way too much fun, and were way too loud, and my voice was just shot. Tara is so cool. We had so much fun. I feel like she's like another person where I'm like, I feel like I've known you my whole life. And it's funny because like I've commented on her channel before, she's commented on mine, but we had never like directly spoken really. Like we weren't like in the DMs, like hanging out, talking. But at Stitchcon, like our connection was like so fast, so furious. I don't know what that means, but we definitely connected really quickly. And it's funny because somebody at our tables one of the nights was like, you guys have like the exact same mannerisms. And I was like, oh my God, besties. So we had so much fun together, and I'm already pressuring her to also go to Stitch North with us so that she and I can kind of go up together and room together and all that. So it's gonna be fun. I've been talking to her like every single day since the end of it, and same with Erinn and Amity. We just had so much fun. Okay, I had to take a break for a second. So I think I'm on Saturday. This video is already way too long, and I still have haul, so I'm so sorry for that. So Saturday was another 8 to 10 day. I think I got there around like 8:39 because at this point I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. Like I'm getting like no sleep because we're staying up so late stitching, and then I get back to my room and I'm still like keyed up, you know, and because I'm just having so much fun. Like each night at late night stitching, it was always like me, Erinn and Amity, and Tara, and then our table, the other people kind of rotated depending on who was like with us or not. Mega Stitches, Milka, she would wander in and out aimlessly. I was like constantly, people would be like, oh, did Milka go back to her hotel room? And I'm like, well, all her stuff is still here, so I don't know. She was funny. She was like an ethereal, like beautiful fairy, and I loved her. She was really fun to talk to. But she would sit with us here and there and then wander away to her other family and then come back, you know. Like I said, me, Tara, and Erinn and Amity, we were like the ones who were like shutting our table down every night. So, and the other, like the thing is, Erinn and Amity had to drive home every night and then drive back every morning. And despite that, they were still always in the stitching room before me. And I was like, how are you guys even alive right now? But yeah, so Saturday was probably like the most action-packed as far as like events went. So the remaining 2 smalls exchanges happened, and I did mine, and I got this really cool, I picked a bag that had like birds all over it because you were supposed to theme your packaging around like what it would be. So if you're like doing a Christmas small, you need to theme your bag around Christmas because there are people who don't celebrate Christmas, don't want anything to do with Christmas, and if they got your small, that would be kind of like a bummer. So during my smalls exchange, I went and scoped out the table, and there was like 5 or 6 different bee-themed bags, and most of the bags were like the same bag. So I was like, oh, maybe one of those, because I do love bees. But then there was this one that was covered in birds, and it was really calling to me. And I was like, if that is still on the table, when I get my number called, that's what I'm getting. And I got it. And it, you know, I'm going to show it to you now. So I saved the tag that was on it, and it said, for a bird lover, and it has this like cording, and that's what was like holding it to the bag. But then there was like a bunch of other like cutout birds like this all over the bag, and they're just really cute. I do love birds. My fiance also really loves birds, and he's like really wanting to get like bird feeders and stuff, but we live in an apartment, so it's like not as easy to find stuff that will go on our little porch area. So that'll tie in a second. But the small that they stitched was this little hummingbird, and the colors, like of the cording or what are in the small itself, and it is really cute. And look at these two little precious guys at the top. And the way they finished it was really cute. I like the little buttons. I love the cording. I love the colors. And my grandparents are also big bird people. Like my granddad has books about birds. He's got binoculars. He used to always like look for birds. They love birds. And they had like a ton of hummingbird feeders. And I remember making sugar water with my grandma when I was a kid and filling it up the hummingbird feeders and hanging them out and all that. So imagine my surprise and delight when not only did I get this little hummingbird small, but they put in this little hummingbird feeder, and it's like a really simple mason jar. It says that it is dishwasher safe. The hooks come off so you can do that. It's got like the little nozzles, and it has some replacement ones in here as well. And making hummingbird like nectar, I believe, is like pretty easy. Like I don't think you need to go to the store and buy it. I'm gonna like do a little research before I fill it up, but this is gonna be perfect for our little porch area because there's a place to hang it and it'll be perfect. We can see the hummingbirds. So I was like, what a sweet little kind of combo here. And then, as if that wasn't enough, they put in 3 dire, specialty fancy flosses from, actually it ended up being from 3 different brands, and they're all different birds. So this is Blackbird from Classic Colorworks, and it's like a really rich kind of like chocolatey brown. There is a Gentle Art Sampler Threads. This is Blue Jay. And then I've told you guys I don't purchase from Weeks Dye Works, but because this has already been purchased, of course I'm going to use it because like the money has been spent. And this is Weeks Dye Works Cardinal. So these 3 colors, they go so well together. They're all named after birds. It was just a really cute, nice theming, and it's good to see like how the way other people put theirs together. So for my next smalls exchange, I feel like I'll be a little bit more prepared. And if you're wondering what I gave, I did show it in previous videos. I didn't take a picture of it beforehand, but I did like show it off in previous videos, and I did like a Halloween themed small. The other event that had been kind of going on all weekend but finally like finished on Saturday night was there's a big raffle, and I believe like the raffle was for charity. This year the charity they had chosen was this charity called Beds for Sleepy Heads, and they brought in this group that they would get gently used furniture, and they would furnish whole homes for people who are in need. So people who are like getting out of abusive situations, who maybe lost their homes and are finally getting a new space, people who have been experiencing homelessness and are finally moving into a place where they can, live a little bit more permanently. And, they would furnish these homes like crazy. Like they were rattling off the numbers, telling us like how many homes that they furnished in the past year, and it was like in the thousands. It's crazy. But they said the one thing they really needed was beds. And so all of the excess money, like for the raffle and the auction, which I'll talk about in a minute, that all went towards this charity, and $250 equal 1 bed. So I believe they did raise quite a bit for it. It was a really cool cause because you can't really, used beds aren't always in the best. So they wanted to buy like the new beds, which I really thought that was a cool charity. And so I bought $20 in raffle tickets. It was like $1 per ticket, or 6 for 5 or something like that. So I spent $20 and I split my tickets between 2 baskets. There was like 15 baskets to choose from. You could put your tickets into the baskets that you wanted to win. And I won the basket that I wanted the most. So that was really cool. But when they called my number, I was just like, was that me? Like, I was like so tired and my eyes were not working anymore. So I was just like, did I win? Like, I felt like I didn't look super excited when I went up to receive it, and I felt bad later, but I was like, I don't know where I am or who I am or what I am anymore. But there was like a bee themed basket, and I had put my tickets into that. I didn't win that one, and I really just wanted it because, so the woman who runs Keepsakes, her husband keeps bees, and the honey that he like harvest, some of it was in the basket. And I was like, oh, that's because I had talked to him a little bit about it while I was checking out at the store. And I was like, that's so cool. I'm obsessed with bees. And I would love to, if I ever own my own property, to keep bees. And he was talking about that with me a little bit. But I didn't win that one, but I did win the bird theme basket that I put my tickets into, and it was all cardinal themed. And again, this is something that reminds me of my grandparents. They love cardinals. So it came with some stitchy accessories and some patterns. So I got 4 patterns, and this one is called When Cardinals Appear by Blackberry Lane Designs LLC. And I don't know why I thought, I had high hopes that like it wasn't going to reflect off the plastic, and yet. So this has like 2 border ways you can do. I don't know which one I want to do, but like the little cardinal in the center, he looks like just a goofball. I like that it's like a dead-on like shot to his face. One of the borders says, it's got words in it. Hang on, can you tell I have like barely looked at anything? I'm like losing my dang mind. I think the one says, when cardinals appear, angels are near. Yeah, I think those are angels. And then the other one is just a very plain kind of like Christmassy. So you can see this is like the plain like Christmassy snowflakes. And then this one has like the words. I think I'll probably do the one without the words because it's just more my vibe. But yeah, that one is super cute. You couldn't totally see what was in the baskets because, you know, they had like cellophane and stuff was like stacked. So you kind of were like taking a risk because the only pattern I could see, even though I could see like a big stack of patterns, this one was at the front. This is the Tiny Modernist Cardinal Biscornu, and I have one of the Biscornu patterns from them, and I like the way it's like, it's a very like simple, small booklet. And so this is the only pattern I saw, but I like, just from seeing that, I was like, probably gonna like this basket. I got that one. This one is so funny. It's by Bent Creek, and it is called Cardinal on an Egg. And wouldn't you know it, it's a cardinal on an egg. And it's got like little beads on it. So I don't know, I thought that was just really funny. The pattern piece is like, it's so itty bitty. It's only 28 by 54, so that will stitch up super quick. I have already told a couple people, like, because Erinn and Amity, you know, they got like the bird thing going on. Amity's like obsessed with bird patterns, which is so funny because she was like, if a bird comes near me in real life, it's on site. But like, she likes to stitch birds. And then Tara also really liked the cardinal basket. So I'm going to share these with them when I'm done stitching them. And then the final one is a Plum Street sampler. And this one is called Cardinal Kin. And I like the Plum Street, like they kind of do these like animal stack type patterns. And oh, this one has 2 patterns. It's Cardinal Kin and Cardinal Kin 2. So we got 2 versions. What's the difference? I can't tell. I think it's just the colors. Like you can see they're different colors, right? Let me see. I will report back in a moment. Yeah, it looks like it's like the same pattern, just with 2 different colorways included on the back. So that's cool. I like when, I mean, obviously you can substitute whatever, whenever, but it's nice when the designer has like a few different colorways for you to check out. So those were the patterns in the basket. And then I gave the basket to Tasha because I'm like, what am I going to do with a basket? Like, I'm not a basket lady, like not for me. And she was like, my daughter will love it. And I was like, your daughter can have the basket. So it also came from the Crafty Grimalkin, which I've heard the ladies from 2 Needles Pulling Thread talk about this shop. So these are just the cutest little, I don't floss shop stuff typically, but you know, now that I have these, I'm probably gonna have to, right? But very cute, and they feel pretty, you can hear that, right? Pretty sturdy. So those came with it. There was also a Cardinal needle minder, and this is, let's see, from Sweet Autumn Stitch on Etsy, and it is one of those really nice wooden needle minders. I find that at first I kind of like turned my nose up at the wooden needle minders because I feel like the metal ones, I'm so used to enamel pins that I was like, oh, the metal ones are like, you know, more sturdy, more perfect, more beautiful in every way. The wood ones are so much lighter on your project. So I really do enjoy a wooden needle minder. So this was another item that came in the basket. And then it came with 2 threads. So actually ended up with another week's dye work cardinal, which, I mean, I guess it suited the basket, right? And then I got a Gentle Arts sampler thread, Buckeye Scarlet. So just a couple of red threads to kind of go with the whole cardinal theme. After that, there was a charity auction. Now, the charity auction is definitely, like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a charity auction, but stuff usually goes for a higher dollar amount because the money is for charity. So it makes sense. So I was kind of like, I'm out of the running on this one. I don't have like that kind of money to throw around right now, but it's always fun to see like what is going up for auction. They had these two beautifully stitched, I think they were both Mirabilias, but I'm not sure. Were they Mirabilias? I can't remember, but they were like beautifully stitched, beautifully framed pieces that they were auctioned off. There was an entire line of Bestitch Me silks. So beautiful. I love Bestitch Me. And it was, you would get the full line of silk. So like that was a really cool item. They had a couple 1-yard cuts of fabric. There was a custom bag that you could get. So it's like you would buy like the custom bag concept, right? Like it's not like you got a physical item, and then you would get to consult with the bag maker and they would make you a custom, I don't know if it was like a retreat bag or what, but it was like a nice bag. They had one in the raffle. A lot of really cool stuff. At this point I was so tired, I can't remember everything. There was another full line of silks. Now I can't remember who the dyer was, but just a lot of good stuff. Raised a ton of money for charity again, so I am really excited for that charity to, at the end of weekend B, really like, I hope it does, you know, a world of good for them. And then shortly after that ended, the stitching room closed. And so this was Saturday night. A lot of people, it seems, went home after that. Like they were like, we're done, we're going home, because everybody was like moving on out of the hall. And so I went to the late night stitching room. We were there. It was me, Tara, Milka, Erinn and Amity. There was like another Erinn that was there. Like there was a bunch of us. We were there until after 2 a.m. And finally we were like, okay, we got to go back to our rooms. And that was so much fun. But man, I was delirious Sunday morning. And then Sunday, it closed at 3 p.m. So I went in, I stitched a little bit, and then just kind of called it good because I was like, I've got a 4-hour drive home. And so I said goodbye to all my new friends. Tara left a little bit early to get to the airport, so I said goodbye to her. And then I was like, I better leave at 2. And then I didn't leave at 2. I think I left at like 2:30, 2:45. So that was cool. Oh, the reason why I really wanted to go in on Sunday for sure, I mean, aside from I just wanted to stitch, was we had planned a sal on Saturday, which we did. It's the Beach Rat sal, and I will show that in my upcoming floss tube as well. But then Sunday, we also had the Pray For Me sal, which we all started Lucy Beam patterns from the Pray For Me lines. There's Pray For Me I'm Petty, which that's the one I did, and that's the one Amity did. There was Pray For Me I'm Bitter, Pray For Me I had to look it up because I kept forgetting the entire day. So there's Pray For Me I'm Petty, Pray For Me I'm Bitter, Pray For Me I'm Stubborn, and Pray For Me I'm Envious, and they all had like little flowers on them. It's just, I love something that looks like very prim and proper, but then says something like that's like the total opposite. So we all started those together and got some stitches into that, and then I went home and I stitched some more. Because why not? So I tried to cover as much as I could, but like this is going to get out of control. So I did meet a lot of floss tubers aside from the people I already mentioned. Cam the Stitcher, Marjorie Maid. I had a great time talking to them. It was really easy to fall into conversation with them and just sit and chill. I felt like I was among my people. I got to talk to Bridget, who she was really, really cool. Like she's pretty on the screen. In real life, girl, She's beautiful. I mean, all these girls are beautiful, but I was just like, she's just got a very classic look to her. And I was just like, dang girl, you are fine. I hope that's okay to say. She's just so stunning. And I was like, Bridget, I love your name. It's so cool and unique. And she was like, thanks, my mom made it up. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, I think that's so fun. Frizzy Lizzy Stitches was there. I think I like kind of was like, hi, but like we didn't talk as much. It's just like, there's so many people, so much is going on. Chandria, I shouted her out in a recent floss tube, but she is so funny. She's very like quiet, but she's cutting. She's funny. She was like, when we were gonna start the beach rat sale, which was her idea, by the way, because I bought the pattern, and she was like, Sal? And I was like, yeah. She was like, instead of doing a floss toss, I just put my rat on the fabric. She was like, it's the same color, it's fine. So I loved that. She was really funny and sweet. Who else did I meet? I said hi to Liz Matthews in passing. I was like, hi, Liz. And then I walked away. I met Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. She came over and sat by our table for a little bit and we chatted. She's really cool. She's like the main reason I started sewing because she made it look so fun and all her fun fabrics. Carrie from Tiger Lily Designs was there. And I was way too scared to talk to her because like she's got a lot of energy and I was like, I have zero energy right now. But then somebody brought her over to our table. So I did get to have a conversation with her and she was wearing like one of the funnest shirts I've ever seen, just like crazy stitching all over it. Sarah from Sarah's Stitchery was there and she was super nice, really cool. She stood and talked to us for a little bit and it's really interesting you watch these people and then you meet them in real life and you're like, does the personality, does the vibe match up? And it's like, yeah, it does, but it's like, there's a far more relaxed feel when it's like not YouTube, you know what I mean? So it was cool to talk to Sarah's Stitchery in that way because like, she's so organized on her floss tube and you can tell she's a teacher. Like the way she talks, the way she handles herself. And I mean that in a really like good way because it's like, she's very well-spoken and poised, so it's kind of fun to see somebody like that in a more relaxed atmosphere. I met this made me feel so dumb. I met Jessie Marie Does Stuff and I did not realize it was Jessie Marie Does Stuff. I'm really bad with faces and also everybody looks different than they do when they're on camera because like a lot of people, you know, they do up their makeup or like in Erinn's case, like she was wearing glasses at Stitchcon, but she doesn't really wear them on her channel. So a lot of people didn't realize it was her, like with the glasses on. But so we were like sitting there and we're like hanging out. Jessie Marie was sitting at our table at a late night stitching and you meet so many people. There's so many new names. And I was just like, I forgot. I don't know who that is, but we had like fun chilling. And so we're like, all like trying to figure out like what was her name and her name tag was like flipped around and bro. So I asked Tara because the next day because she was sitting at Tara's table and she goes, oh, that's Jessie Marie. And I was like, all right, cool. And then literally like 14 hours later, I was like, wait, is that Jessie Marie? Like Jessie Marie Does Stuff? And she was like, yeah, who else? And I was like, oh no. Bro, it's so hard. And I felt so bad because I'm like, I like her. It wasn't connecting. And there's so many more people. There were people passing around projects that everybody did some stitches on, and that was really fun. I can't think anymore. Like I cannot physically, my brain is like, you're done. So if we met, it was so much fun. I did not take notes. I'm sorry. I probably should have. But I was just so busy, like, being in the moment, having such a good time. So all that said, like, to everybody I met, to everybody who sat and talked with me, to everybody who I came and sat with you and we stitched together, it was just such a joy. And I had such an amazing 4 days and I can't wait to do it again. And now let me show you the haul. So this was the edition of Just Cross Stitch that came in everybody's bag This is the summer 2024. There's definitely a couple patterns in here that I am interested in. I don't know if you guys can see. I like this designer. Isn't that World on a String by Dara? I think so. There's a couple like strawberry patterns in here. There is like this Be Mindful, and I love bees, so probably, and oh, Just Be You. We got Home Sweet Mossy Home, which that looks like it could be Stitch Sprout, but I can't remember. But yeah, so there's like quite a few in here that I definitely would stitch. I only purchase the Christmas and Halloween editions of this, and then I get the rest of them just through my local library, but it's nice to have it on hand. I'm not going to show you guys every single item because then we'll be here for like 90 hours. So I'm going to stick to some of the highlights. This one is Emmett Kelly Jr. Collector's Series. This is called The Balancing Act, and it is designed by Judith Lynn. And it is just this really creepy, raggedy clown. I don't know. I saw this and I was like, that's creepy, and I want to make that. And he's got like a weird feather on his face. I was like, who would just give that away for free? That's crazy. But Tara was like, I found this slutty Santa for you, and I've never heard of this brand. It's Wizards. Oh, it's a Janlin company, but it says Wizards up there, and it's a will work for cookies Santa, and so definitely putting that on the tree. This is from 2002, never opened. This isn't cross stitch, this is sewing, but look at this creepy rat. I was like, I want to make that. I must make that. So I grabbed that. It's so funny. It says Rapini Rat is obviously a caricature of a real rat. And this one is into culinary achievements. We're not ripping off Ratatouille, by the way. Definitely not. You put wires in it and you're supposed to be able to bend him around. So, and then this blew my mind. So I recently watched the Cross Stitch the Globe, like most expensive kits video, and I was like, well, never getting my hands on any of those. And then me and Tasha were standing at the freebie table, and someone just drops 3 full unopened kits of the Disney Dreams collection, Thomas Kincaid, fully kitted. This one is Bambi's First Year, and this one is Fantasia, and I was like, what? So, and then there was, I think, a Little Mermaid one too, and Tasha took that one, and I was like, well, I will take the other 2. And so I'm just gonna hang on to these for a minute and decide, do I want to crack these open and stitch them? Like, what do I want to do here? Because that's the responsibility of owning these feels like too much in a way. They do look fun to stitch, but Bambi makes me sad. So I don't know. I don't know if I want that reminder. So that was a crazy find. Now, as far as what I actually bought, this is a combination of stuff I bought from the Annex and stuff I bought from Keepsakes. I forgot the name of it. I have a stack of patterns here that I'll show you. So I bought a couple of JBW Designs books. I didn't realize that JBW, this is, Judy Whitman is the designer's name. She's from Kalamazoo, because she was there and walking around, and, she dropped like a little something off at her table, and I looked at it and said like Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I like jumped up and I was like, wait, hang on, stop. You're from Kalamazoo? I also live in Michigan. And like, that's all I wanted to tell her. Like, I don't know why. I was like, we're both from Michigan. Can you believe that? Bro, we're in Ohio. It's not like it's that far. But I got to stand and talk to her, and I was like, I love your designs. They are so cute and fun to stitch. So I got this, it's like stitching in the round, and it's like all these little just like stitchy motifs. And a lot of her patterns are like simple, like just a couple colors. So they are like really quick stitches. And then, so she has like several of these books. I didn't realize there was like 3 or 4 different versions of this already like sitting on the table. The models, some of them were like stitched 1/1. It was so precious. But this one, it's got 20 different designs. And then there's like, so this is the first one. I think there's like a 2, 3, and 4. I just grabbed one. Like, I didn't really like think about which one I wanted. I just grabbed one, but I'll probably eventually get them all. And I am glad I ended up with the first one, because I would have felt weird if I bought number 2 first. I don't know why. Like, I'm just like that. So I got the 2 JBWs, and then I waffled back and forth, back and forth. And then I saw somebody stitching one of the Tiny Towns, the Halloween one specifically, and I was like, all right, I will get that. And then I kind of wanted the Valentine's Day one too. I would love to do some of the Tiny Towns and finish them as drums, you know, just the ones that I like. There's a Christmas Tiny Town, which is on the back here. And then this one is advertising the blooming Tiny Town. That one would be cute for spring. So yeah, I feel like these wouldn't take a lot to stitch. They're very cutesy, very color blocky, so it's not like a lot of color changes. Cute little drum to put out. The Artsy Housewife had a trunk show and naturally had to get Beach Rat. And I'm stitching, because on the back it shows there's like the version with the words and the version without the words. I'm stitching the version without the words because, like, I'm not a big beach person, so I wouldn't consider myself a beach rat, and so I just figured I'll do this. And I will show you guys in my regular floss tube the progress I made, because my stuff's everywhere, but I'm stitching it 1/1. So, because I saw somebody in the late night stitching room stitching 1/1, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. So that's what I'm doing. So I got that one, and then I'm not even gonna pull this out of the plastic. You guys have seen this a million times. Coffee and eggs. I was like, I have to have that. Oh, by the way, my brain was so fried when I was in line. Somebody was like, oh, that's so cute. And I was like, I know, I love flamingos. And it's like, as it's coming out of my mouth, I know it's not correct, but I can't think of the word. And the lady's like, that's not a flamingo. And I was like, I know. Can you just tell me what it is? Because I can't think anymore. And she's like, it's not a flamingo. And I was like, I know, just please help me. Bro. But yeah, so I got this and coffee and eggs because everybody and their mother was stitching this, and I loved it from the moment it came out, but I don't know, I just didn't buy it right away. And then it was there in front of me, and I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna buy it. Lucy Beam's trunk show was there, and like I said, I got Pray For Me, I'm Petty, and I'm stitching this one, and it is so funny. It's just like the juxtaposition of how like prim it looks versus like the saying on it. I just really like that. So I had to get that, and we kitted them up because one really cool feature was if you wanted to buy stuff from Keepsakes but you didn't really want to go over there, you could put in an order sheet and they would take it over, and then they would bring your order back and you could just purchase it from the annex. So when we were kitting up Beach Rat, Erinn sent over an order for her threads and my threads, and I was like, I'll just pay you back. And then we decided to kit up these as well, and it ended up being like a 1-for-1 on the quantity of threads and like the price of them. So then I just placed the order for the petty threads, and that way we didn't have to like deal with like exchanging money. Lindy Stitches had her trunk show there, and she had all of her, I think it was all of them. It may not have been all of them, but it was a lot of them, of the airmail birds. And this one in particular was really calling to me. The Valentine kind of themed bird, 14 cents, very cute. The heart on the wing. It is the rose-breasted cockatoo, and it's like, you know, one of those nice cardboard patterns. I was really tempted to buy every single one of the airmail ones, but I just stuck with the one to start, you know, let's be reasonable. This one, I was really sucked in by. This is one where I saw the pattern on paper and I was like, no. And then I saw the model stitch and I was like, 100% yes. Because looking at the model from across the room, it looked like embroidery. This is running with needles and scissors. I've not heard of this designer. And this is called Beloved. And just like this part right here, it looked so pretty. So I don't know if I want to stitch everything or if I just want to stitch the birds. I'll decide when the time comes, but not my normal style at all. But those birds really, like, the model stitch was beautiful. Erin Elizabeth Designs trunk show had like a ton of those like tier style patterns. And I don't know that, I think there are other designers that do the tiers, but this designer has a ton of them. And this one is the Stitchy tier. So you can see it's got like some old school sewing notions on there. We got the tomato, the old sewing machine, the fancy scissors, a thimble, buttons, a little cross stitch hoop. It's got all kinds of stuff. So I thought that was really cute. I heard the tiers kind of stitch up pretty quickly. It's only 61 by 91, which honestly, I thought it was bigger than that, to be honest. Romy's Creations was there, and I don't think I've heard of this designer, or if I have, like, wasn't like at the forefront of my mind, but they have literally a bowl of floss. Like, so you had to really dig to find the colors you wanted. And I bought all of these colors because I bought 2 patterns, and so I was like, let me just buy the called for since I'm standing right here. So I bought the Halloween needle book, which here's that. It's got like a cute little ghost. I've always wanted to make like something like this. It says Halloween needles and pins stitched with love. And so I bought all the called for threads except for, they didn't have one called charcoal. It says it's like, because it has a DMC conversion. The DMC is 310. So it's like, I'll just either I'll use 310 or no, I'll just use 310. It looks straight up like 310. I was gonna say maybe I'll use 37.99, but no, it's darker than that. And then the other one that I got was It's a Beautiful Day, and this one was like the model sold me. And one thing about Romy's Creations is I'm obsessed with the fact that, so this is a Halloween pattern, right? Uses Chiller font throughout the pattern. I love the font Chiller. When I was in middle school, every single PowerPoint I did, I used Chiller font, black background, red font color, because I was an edgy little kid. But they use Chiller font for all their patterns. So like being like, it's a beautiful day, but in Chiller font, it's just the height of comedy to me. But so the thing about this is, this is all back stitch, I believe. This is like a little bow like pinned on there. Real pins, real buttons, real pins, real buttons. This is straight up like a bunch of floss tacked onto there to look like a skein. And that was what I was like, I want to make the little skein of floss. It's just too cute. This is a beautiful day to make something. And so I bought the floss for that. I also, because I was like, oh, I don't want to just use only plain pins. I'll use some of those plain straight pins. But then Puntini had some stuff there. And so these are like 3 little straight pins that I thought, like classic kind of stitchy motifs. I thought those would go on there and look really natural. And then there was like a big floss wall. So they had almond M&Ms, and then did they have Forbidden Fiber Co? I don't know, but I bought an almond M&M's Studio. I've heard people talk about these a little bit on FlossTube, and so I was like, let me try this silk. This is Wicked, and it is a 6-ply, so it kind of goes from this like creepy dark purple to this gross creepy green. And somebody at my table was like, that would be really cool to kind of make it like as like coming out of a cauldron, like bubbles coming out of a cauldron. So I was like, that's a great idea. And then I bought a few needle minders. So Rebel Stitcher Designs had like a huge bucket of them. So I got this Yeti that says stay cool. And I have a Yeti pattern from them that I need to stitch. So perfect. I also got this Mothman, and it says spread your wings. And I think Chandria bought this one as well, but I can't remember. I know somebody else did. I saw this one from Stitchy Pros and was like, I must own it. This is Bees Drinking Tea. And when I was checking out, the person who was checking me out was the owner of Keepsakes. And like I said, her husband, he keeps bees. And she was like, oh my God, look at this. And they were both like, oh, that's so cute. But this is another nice, lightweight wooden needle minder. And then, so some of the needle minders, there was like a section that just had a bunch, and they all had colored stickers on the back. And there was a chart that was like, this color is this much, and this color is this much. And like blue was like 20 bucks. And like, yeah, that's a lot to pay, but I was like, oh, like this is a really cool needle minder, and I thought it had a blue sticker, and it's got like a color wheel, and I'm bad at color, so it shows you like analogous colors, triadic color, whatever all that means, complementary colors. You can see like as it spins, it's interactive, it's fun, massive magnet on the back. And like I go over my receipts whenever I like buy anything, and so I was like comparing my receipt to what I bought just to make sure everything was like in good working order. And I was like, what is this charge for $32.50? Well, did you know that lavender sticker needle minders were $32.50, and lavender and blue apparently look similar to me. The light is going wild in here. Yeah, so this was a $32 needle minder. I was like, oh, oopsie. But yeah, I'm gonna just treasure that one forever because why not? I think it's about to like storm out, so I'm sorry. That's everything I bought at the annex, but then I went, you know, like to the actual keepsakes, and this got me at checkout. This is wooden needle minder, and it is keepsakes. Now they gave us these as like scissor fobs or zipper fobs or something for free, so I have another one like that, but this is the needle minder version of that, so you know I had to have that too. I bought 2 cuts of fabric, so I got a 1/8 of 36 count linen Picture This Plus Murky. I actually was specifically looking for this. I have a pattern in mind. I don't know if it's going to fit on there. If it doesn't, then I'm just going to use this for Halloween smalls. Perfect, right? Great idea, Hillary. Good job. And then I was looking also for a red fabric because I have a couple patterns that I have been wanting to stitch on red, and I just feel like looking at red online, it just isn't, it's not the vibe. So this is, who is this? Dames of the Needle. It was called like Mater Sandwich or something like that. It's 32 count. It's reading a little orange on camera, but it's definitely more of a poppy red. And the patterns that I have in mind for this are either Birdman Cometh by Little Robin Designs, Ink Circles Arranging Pasta, or I don't have the original pattern out, I only have like the working copy. I have Spaghetti Western Sampler by Ardith Designs. I'll just throw a picture up. So those are the 3, and I want to see what I can fit on there and what won't fit and what I think is going to look best. But yeah, I think this is going to be a good one. I love the Ink Circles Arranging series, so I saw this and I grabbed this from there as well. This is Arranging the Sewing Kit. Just got like a cute little bunch of like scissors and like sewing notions. So that wasn't like on my original list of like things I absolutely wanted, but it's been on my wish list. So this one I actually did want to pick up specifically, so I was on the hunt for it. And so I went to the Christmas room. This is Oh Christmas Tree by All Through the Night. And this one I wanted because I have a ton of Bestitch Me silks, and I have a couple that are in really rich green colorways. So I thought that would be perfect for like a monochromatic silk stitch. And then because I'm about to get married and I saw these, and I've always wanted to do one of these little Just Nan mice, I thought these would be cute to stitch up. They will stitch up really quickly, and maybe display them at my wedding, but I'm not going to take these out of the package just because they got a bunch of little notions in there. But this is Juliet the Bride Mouse, and she's got like a little like flower, and like there's all kinds of like little beads and stuff. And then this is Romeo the Groom Mouse, and he's got a little top hat. Oh my god. So these are cute little kits that I just thought that would be fun. And if I like these mice, then maybe I'll buy more Just Nan mice. Oh, okay, I totally forgot, but here is the project roll I bought at the annex. This is why I got in line so early, because I wanted these beetles. I've been figuring like just a project roll would be nice to have. This is by Althea's SNR. Oh, Stitch and Roll project rolls by Althea. So these were just really nice. They're a little bit more expensive, like they're over $50, but definitely, you know, it's a durable good, and it's well made and something that I will be using constantly. So I was like, I don't care how much it is, I'm gonna buy it. Really cute. My hair is just getting caught on everything. This is the project bag that Amity gave me. It's got raccoons all over it, little cute zipper pull, and then the inside fabric. So there's two pockets. There's this one that has this kind of like, is it terrazzo? And then we've got some of these flowers, and this is housing the two sals that we started. So I guess I'll just show them to you here. So this is my 1/1 beach rat that I'm doing. Very precious. And then here's where I got to on the Pray For Me sal. Not like a ton, but I just want to get a start in. This fabric was actually on the freebie table. It's a 40, I think it said it was like a 44 count. So I'm doing 1/2 on this one. And I have like all the relevant threads in there. This is the Ort jar that everybody got, which was obviously I got some use out of, like very convenient. I love an Ort jar. I love a jar. It's got Ohio on the top, which could take or leave that, but I'm from Michigan, so what can you do? Okay, so this was a little gift bag from somebody at the table next to us. Her and her mother were just the funniest people I've ever met. Like, super cute, super precious girl. I mean, I say girl, but she was literally like my age, but just very sweet. She had a Burt Reynolds, right? Was it Burt Reynolds? No, Tom Selleck. What? Sorry, Tom. She had a Tom Selleck blanket, just like people were going nuts for. And I was like, oh my God, your blanket's so funny. And she's like, that's my travel Tom Selleck, because apparently she has a bigger one at home. So I thought that was great. And so her mom works for Scentsy, so they had these in there. So it's like for your car, which I love that. And then her dad works for Coca-Cola, Michael, and this cute little Coca-Cola pin. I love a pin. So, and then there is also a nail file. So I really liked this because, I mean, it's not like I don't love all the Stitchy gifts, but like this was really cool too because it was like a nice little touch, you know, it's not just Stitchy stuff. Somebody was giving out, let's see, who is this? It's Stacy B. There we go. I was like, Stacy. No, Stacy. It says, pick me up and I'll help you stuff. And this is nice because it's like a corner, like poker, basically. If you've ever made like a little pillow, you know, it's kind of a pain to poke those corners out. And also, there's candy in there. I didn't eat any of the candy that was given to me. I saved it all. I did eat, however, like half the cookies that Amity's husband made for people because that man can bake like you wouldn't believe. I'm like going to personally commission him to make me cookies. They were so good. Forbidden Fiber Co. glass elevator. It's a 1/8 of a yard, 46 count. And this was, Chandria gave this to me. She was, I don't know, she didn't want it or something, but she was like, you can have it. And I was like, I will take it because I've never tried Forbidden Fiber Co. Oh, look at this. This is so fun. So this was like our name tag. My throat. This is our name tag. And Tasha made these for the whole table. And it's got like a slot for your name tag. And then it's got this little zipper portion. And this was perfect because it held, you know, my raffle tickets. It held my smalls chip. Any like little stuff when you're walking around. This was so nice. So I will be hanging on to this for future retreats. Somebody was walking around handing out some silks for you, and they're a brand I've been wanting to try, and this is a fun colorway, so I was like, thank you. This is like super special to me because, so Erinn texted me and was like, hey, would it be okay if I like introduced you to somebody? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so we went over to this woman's table who, she apparently watches me on my other channel, Mediocre Manis, which was my first YouTube channel, nail polish channel. And she heard me mention like that I like to cross stitch over there. And so she checked it out and she got into it. Like, I think she said like a year ago. She's already going to like meetups and stuff like that. And I thought that was so cool. But she was giving out scissor fobs. And she told me she made me a yellow one specifically because I always talk about on my nail polish channel, I'm like, all these people who hate yellows, man, these yellow haters. And even over here, I'm like, come on, like, because I hear so many people who are like, not sure about that yellow thread. And I'm like, I'm sure about it. So she made me this. So I get, like, first of all, look at the like the clasp on this is a little heart. This center like disco ball type thing. And she told me like this bottom heart is supposed to glow in the dark. She's like, I'm not really sure though. So I immediately go back to my table, hook it on my scissors, and then proceed to like ball it up and go like this over my eye. And there's like scissors hanging off. And Amity just looks at me. She goes, what the hell are you doing? It's like, oh yeah, that does look a little crazy. It does glow in the dark though. But I will treasure this. This is going on my like stitchy spot scissors because I don't ever want to lose that. I feel bad because I can't remember if Cam or Marjorie made this bag. I think it was Cam. Because I talked to them both in like such quick succession when I got this. So I can't remember who handed me this bag. And then I've just got like bags of candy. This is the little trinket tray that Tasha made so that, you know, you could put all your little stuff in it. This is a super cool, what do you call it? Like scissor fob or anything like that. And this is by Those Missing Stitches. It's got like a creepy skeleton hand, very Halloween-y. Oh, this is who was handing out ornament samples. This is Millennial Fabrics. I think it was like their first year there. And so it's just this like cute little square. And I think this is perfect. This is such a great little like handout. Very useful. More candy. Oh, you know what? I think this, maybe this was also in my raffle bag. I can't remember because I got 2 bird themed bags. So I don't know if this was in my raffle bag or if this was in my smalls exchange, but another scissor fob, but I always can use more. I have so many scissors. We got a lot of tape measurers. Oh, this was cute. Chandria made these, and it's like a ort container. It's such a like funky shape, and it's kind of got like a volcano thing going on. But you just stick your orts in there, and then it kind of folds up. And I picked the one with chickens all over it because reminds me of my grandma because she loves chickens. This is one of the pens that one of my table mates made. This was from Michelle. It's got like a turtle on it. And actually I picked this because I thought my fiance would like this because he loves turtles. This is Lady Huzzah Presents, and it's a cute little counting pin. And I've always really wanted a counting pin. I don't know why, but I just thought this was so cute. So I was glad to receive that. This is from Mary Lang and April Skipper at Stitcher211 and at April Skipper. And this was just like a cute, you could probably put it on a zipper or anything like that, but I like the little like thread bobbin. This is going to be so fun to put all this away. This is a needle minder from Elkhorn Lab, and it has like kind of a commemorative like weekend A. I thought that was really cute. I love the design. And there's also Haribo gummy bears in there, which I will be eating immediately after this. This is from Those Missing Stitches, another kind of scissor fob. It says, sometimes you forget you're awesome, so this is your reminder. A tub filled with something. I don't know what, I don't remember. One of these little scratchy things. This is from BU Needleworks, and it's, I'll show you the card. It's like B like the bug and U like the sheep. Oh, here's the needle minder that Minnesota Stitcher made. She had a bunch of like different animals. I love the bears and the sweaters, so I had to have that guy. There was a woman going around giving out these little like magnetic frogs. So he's kind of like a little companion. More tape measures. Literally the funniest pin in the world. I love him. Got a little like frog themed counting pin. I guess this is like thread jewelry. It says you've got this on there. Oh, this is one of the favorite needle minders I got because this one was so different. This is from French Knots. It's another, there were so many Erinns there. So it was like another one of the Erinns, but it's like an itty bitty rainbow, but then you can see there's like a little, like you can slide your needle through there if you want to. I don't know, I just thought it was really cute. Mindy McNabb, this is a floss drop, or not a floss drop, a needle minder from her. This is the Absent Minded Stitcher made this very unique needle minder, which doubles as a floss or a needle threader, and the back has a little button on it, so you know she dressed up the magnet. Here's the little keepsakes thing that they gave us that has like the big hook on there. And then it's just like tons of floss drops from all sorts of people. Let's see. Sarah's Stitchery. These are, I think you gotta punch your own hole, but like floss drops. Frizzy Lizzy Stitches gave out stickers. Stitchy Pros floss drops. They got cardinal on them. This is from Lady Mama Squirrel Elaine Bauer. Just a little, probably good for a zipper. It says Believe on there. Marjorie Made floss drops. This is Willed Woman Crafts. This is Tara's cat. And she also gave out, here, let me show you, because I love him, some thread jewelry. And this is her cat. And they had a bunch of different, it's like made on Shrinky Dink. They had a bunch of different versions of it. So I got the red cowboy hat, and I believe Erinn got a green cowboy hat. So we kind of match. Sticker from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. And, oh, these I thought were very cool. Somebody was handing these out towards the end. They are library cards. They're to put on the back of your finished pieces to document all the important information about your stitching. They're acid and, I don't know how to say this, lignin free with pH neutral glue. These are from Barbara Ann's Creative Treasures. And look at how precious. They're like the old school library card. So it's got a spot for the pattern name, designer, who stitched it, fabric name, color count, the threads you used, start and finish date, and any notes you might want to make about it. So I absolutely love that idea, and I might use these on, like, if I stitch something huge, put it on the back of like the frame. More Kim the Stitcher stuff. And then let's see, at the end they give you this, like, you can make your own like thread jewelry thing, and it's like gardening themed. So there was a bunch of different flowers. I found like a rose, and I'll put that together later. I don't know. I think that's everything. Yeah, I'm surrounded by stuff. That's not even everything. It's just like, it's been there's too much. There's too much. Everybody's so nice. I have already been like churning ideas of like what I should bring to future retreats, and you know, how do I put my own like special like twist on it. I have a lot to put away now. So I have a lot to edit because I need to post this tomorrow. So sorry for the feature length film. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I had so much fun. I'm so excited I got to meet people. I made some clearly I mean, it's been like 5 days, but I'm like, you're my friends for life now. Sorry about that. You're stuck with me. So I hope you guys, if you made it this far in the video, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you for a regular floss tube that's not 9 hours long. I say that now, but I'm lying to you. Next Saturday. So bye.